Smash Factor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. That is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to the Smash Factor for the Northern Trust, week 44 on the 2020-2021 PGA season. Also week 1 of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Strong field as to be expected. So good things to talk about this week. A lot of strategy, where to fade up top, go balanced, all kinds of options there with the top 125 in the FedEx Cup here. Technically, I guess 124 of them, as Usti has withdrawn from this week, so he will not be playing. Last week, man, Wyndham Championship. What a one of the lowest combined 5 of 6, 6 of 6s we've seen in a long time, if ever. Probably one of the top 2 or 3 ever. Under 10% combined in many contests. Saw many, I even saw 3 of 6s in some contests cashing, depending on the way it was. 4 of 6s certainly, 5 of 6 definitely, and then 6 of 6s had were less than 1% in some instances. The -2s really hurt, and it could be for everybody, right? But that I had a significant amount of people in my pool that finished one shot out of the cut. Matsu, Rogers, Doc, Lebiota, Woodland, Bohogue, Stallings, and there were several there, and that can be said for anybody, so it's not like you can say if 1 or 2 of these get in there, makes that big of a difference on the week. It was definitely down week for me. Woodland was a guy I liked a lot. Lebiota was a guy I definitely had some, and then Matsu, I had plenty of him. Weird tournament just in general. You had the leader at, I want to say Henley was -14 through 2 rounds, and then we wind up -15 on a 6-man playoff. Could have been 7 men easily. That I was at, obviously we didn't plan on necessarily the storm situation, so they went off super early, and we had our 25th anniversary fantasy football draft for my home league that kind of dueled right against that for me. So I was trying to watch the playoff and all that kind of stuff down the stretch. Obviously I thought that normally the golf would be ending around 5 or so, but kind of butted up against each other. Scott looked like he had a chance to win. I did have a lot of Scott, so that was one positive. Had some answer. It was just in general, solid tournament, but it just felt like, I guess for so long, because we kind of thought the way it was going to come down to. I'm not answering. I didn't have answer. Sorry, I was thinking of 2 weeks ago, but had some Scott, missed that putt. Kind of felt like the Burns situation. Had a ton of Roger Sloan, not a ton, but he was one of my highest owned 6K guys. He's right there in the playoffs. No outright bets this week. Been on a dry, a little bit of a dry streak. I went back and looked at my results. We hit that big 33-1, I think, or 40-1 top 5 a little while back, but this was the first week I felt like I just had nobody in a while. Like, I've had a lot of top 5 finishes, or a guy there on Sunday, or a few guys on Sunday that had a chance. I didn't bet Scott last week, even though I did like him especially he was super low owned, projected low owned, him and Bubba, but didn't feel like I had anybody in the mix there. I didn't have Henley. I kind of went against him. He was one of my low end fades. I talked about on the recap show that because of the Usti situation, him withdrawing so late Wednesday, I wound up going a little more Henley than I had planned. Was still light on the field. But I think, as you kind of saw, and I talked about this a little bit, even Wednesday night when I edited the final thoughts, I talked about Usti that could have done 1 or 2 things. People either go to Webb, or they think now Webb's going to be so heavily owned that it brings a lot more of those balance builds in, and that's kind of what happened. A lot of the balance builds happened people just dropped down and didn't have to play as much of the 6K range if they didn't want to, which brought in guys like Kisner and all that. And didn't have Kisner too much on our radar. Happy for him. I like him as a golfer in general. Played well, made a clutch putt there. It's kind of weird to see all 6 of them go to the second hole and then only one guy birdie it. And same with Scott. If he birdies the first playoff hole, he'd have been the only one to birdie it. 18 was playing hard. You saw a lot of bogeys there as guys were coming in, and you thought it was going to be challenging. Henley bogeys it there at the end. So it was definitely playing hard. A good tournament, fun tournament. You like seeing all the scenarios there at the end. Like, Chesson Hadley was one that, he finishes with like 7 under, including a hole in one on the back 9, and he slides into the 125th spot for the FedEx. So that was a cool story to see. And when he was doing his interview, he didn't know if he's going to get it or not. Literally came down there to the end. So that kind of stuff is always fun for me. But I'm excited for this week. I think it's a big boy week. Three rounds of the playoffs ahead of us. Of course, we've seen a couple times in the last 10 years. Some of these guys have played on it a few times, so a little familiar with it. I think it's going to be a good, fair challenge for them. I don't think we're going to see Birdie Fest by any means, but overall, we'll have some of that again because it's the top 70 make it to the next week. Not who finishes top 70 this week, just like top 70. They, year long keeps rolling. So win more points this week, get inside the top 70, make it to the BMW Championship. So there'll be a lot of that going on throughout the tournament, as we've had since August 1st and rolling through September 13th, which is the opening night Monday Night Football. Use the code NFL, get 25% off any package. It includes a 7-day free trial. If you don't like what we got going on, you can cancel. You never get charged inside that first 7 days. I will tell you, I reviewed, and Bobby's been working hard on the NFL tools. Shared a few screenshots in the GC Warrior Room Slack. Really excited for that. That's coming along nicely. Those are going to be big for us this year, along with all the other tools. If you're a current member and you want to upgrade right now, DM me on Slack or Twitter. I will get you your GC loyalty code, and you can upgrade before prices go up September 14th. Rate and review us on iTunes. We'll be doing giveaways that opening NFL Week 1, and one of the specific giveaways will come from people that have rated and reviewed us on iTunes. If you haven't done it or you don't remember doing it, you can always just do it again. It doesn't hurt. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like this video for me, and then tell me who you want to fade in the 10K range. We got 7 guys up there, which is as many as we've had all year. So a lot of options there to mess around with. Tell me the 1 out of the 7 you want to fade this week. The listener league will be in the description here. I think I'm going to make the finals next week for the BMW since we have 70. I'm going to think about that and I'll let you guys know. All the winners will do a fun deal and give some prizes away for that. I think I'll do it next week. Maybe we do it with the FedEx, and they're still going to have DraftKings contest, but I'll make that decision this week and let you guys know for that. 300 spots this week, 500 to first, 3 max as usual. Again, the link will be in the audio version if you want to go click on that real quick, get your 3 lineups reserved. Last week winner was already a winner this year. Ahmed 345, 598.5 points, a 30-point win on the field, so that's impressive. He had Webb, Zalatoris, Siwoo, Stewart, Duffner, and McCarthy. Very solid lineup. Congrats on the multiple wins. He's already in, obviously, to the League of Champions format here for either next week or the week after. Course preview, as always, go check out Kenny Kim on the Fantasy DGM podcast. He will go through it in full, and then he will post it to the site for the pre-members with his updates on Wednesday. All right, Liberty National Golf Club. Last year was at TPC Boston. As I mentioned, top 125 in the FedEx Cup standings are here. Usti is a withdrawal. Top 70 advance to the BMW Championship, and then the top 30 from the BMW go to the East Lake for the Tour Championship. And remember, we have the new format of they stagger the starting spots with, like the guy whoever has the most FedEx Cup points going into East Lake will start 10 under to start the tournament, and it'll scale down all the way to even to the 30th place. So I think it's 26th through 30th place. So, I built a little tool for that last year to help us kind of dissect and go through that. So we'll have that again this year. It's a par 71, almost 7,400. Bent grass fairways and greens, bluegrass rough. Smaller greens than tour average for sure. Been here 2009, 2013. Those 2 years it was a par 72. And then 2019 was the 2017 President's Cup was also played here. 2009, we had Heath Slocum win it, beating Els, Harrington, Stricker, and Tiger by 1. 2013, Adam Scott won at 11 under. He Rose, Woodland, Tiger, and Graham DeLette finished out the top 5. And then 2019, when it was first played as a par 71, Patrick Reed won it at 16 under. Answer, HV3, Rahm, and Adam Scott finished out the top 5 there. So, Tiger's been up there twice. Adam Scott's been up there. So some familiar names. I did on the premium rankings pull in the finishing places for the 2013 and 2019 tournaments for the guys that had played it. 3 par 5s on here. 2 of them are reachable, so definitely can be had. Maybe some eagles. Birdie rates on those are extremely high. Going to need a strong iron game. I'll go through the stats that I'm looking at most here in a second. Weather looks not horrible. There is a small 30 to 50% chance Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Still early in the week. It's Monday, midday. So we'll look at that as we get closer to Wednesday to see if we have anything we need to pay attention to there. Right now, nothing. It just looks like scattered storm, so it's nothing we can really bank on. Cut, I'm going to go with -2. It still is T65 and ties. And I'm going to go with the winner -14 right now. We'll see if we adjust any of that as we go along. Stats for me, I'm looking at off the tee, good drives, stroke gain irons, which is approach and around the green. Around the green is going to be somewhat important here this week just because these are small greens, so guys tend to miss them some. Accurate approach, bogey avoidance, and scoring opportunities inside 18 feet are the ones I'm looking at. Didn't pull in. I pulled in some course comps to the course fit stuff. Won't have that ranked nearly as high, obviously, with 2019 being the only time most of these guys have played it. But I did look at some other courses I felt lined up, here similar to Liberty National this week. 28 guys didn't play it at all in 2019 or 2013. So a little more than, 95 of these guys had at least played this course once in those 2 years. And then some of these guys did play on the President's Cup team in 2017. If you want to go look at those results, a little bit different there. I don't look at that heavily just because it's a match play setting type deal, so a little bit different. But you can still go see who did well if you'd like to on the 2017 President's Cup. Like I said, 7 guys in the 10K range, 8 guys in the 9K range, 10 guys in the 8K range, 33 guys in the 7K range, 66 in the 6K range. So 15 guys up there in the 9 and 10K range. Really going to be, some tough cuts for people, definitely. And you get a little bit of the eye candy this week because you especially with some of these weaker tournaments we've had, quote unquote weaker tournaments we've had lately. A lot of these guys are going to look like good values, and so we got to remember, we talk about that every week. It's all relative to the field and all that kind of stuff. So still have to decipher. Oh man, I can't believe he's in the 6Ks. He was in the 8Ks. Well, this field's so top. Top 50, most of the top 50 in the world are here. And the top best 125 players on tour this year are here. So you're going to have guys that definitely have pricing that looks a little different than what you may have seen, in some of these recent tournaments. So it's something to keep in mind. Sweet 16, as always, I'll give you 3 picks and a bubble boy in the 4 major ranges. Fade of the week, sleep of the week, gut feel plays. Betting top 5 that pop and 2 long shots. Talk a little one and done. That's going to be more individually based, depending on where you're sitting. Then we get out of here and be back tomorrow for a couple with Gup and some updates after the deep dive into the stats tonight for me. 9K and above, kicking it off there. I'm going to go wrong. He's number 1 in my rankings. Definitely one worrisome, and maybe we get him at a little bit of discount because people are going to be rushed to shake off, with the whole, didn't play in the Olympics, didn't play 3M Open, didn't play WGC, and obviously didn't play. So his last tournament was the British Open. So been a little while since he played. He did play here back in 2019, got 3rd. I'm not worried about too much of that at all. and I just like him. I know he's up there in the price, and we got to pay for him, but I guess if he becomes the go-to, that may change me a little bit. Did talk about last week, the ownership deal, definitely in PGA, something that's to be discussed. And again, we had some chalky guys still do well, like Webb. He got seventh. It wasn't horrible for him. Had a chance there, just really couldn't get anything going. Had that triple on Saturday, but still was close to probably paying off. And he was in a lot of the good lineups, even though he didn't technically win, but. I like Rom this week. I think the course could fit him well. He obviously played it well back in 2019. Went on right now. He is the best player in the world. Not a guy that I typically go to a lot, but I just think he's, I could see the deal about is there any rust or, is he, that type of deal, but I'm not too worried about right now, and I'm going to go there this week. Next is Spieth, which kind of, I don't know if this morning when I was thinking through everything, and I kind of do my blind player before I, player rankings, so I'm not, doing anything anecdotally type adjusting and all that bias in them. But I don't know if I would have got there with him, but he's been playing well. Second at WGC, 12th at WGC, second at the Open, a 6th here in 2019, a 19th here in 2013. He's putts great on bent. Stats are, there's some that, he's not the best on, but he's not, some of the time he's not always going to. But a place where Patrick Reed's won, that great around the gearing game, short game, stuff like that. That's something that I always think of with Spieth. I don't know what his popularity is going to be this week. I think it's going to be very spread out, first of all. I don't think ownership. I think when you're up top, 9K, 10K area, I don't think you're going to see someone just be massively owned. We got, who do we have in here? We got Rom, Spieth, DJ Morikawa, Brooks, Rory, and Xander, all in this, from 10,000 to 11.5. So a lot of this is going to be spread out where you're not really that much of an impact as far as ownership. So I don't think anybody's going to be super high owned, and it'll be very tight. So I'm not really worried about that. And he may not be. He may go overlooked a little bit at that price. I think DJ's, probably going to be lower owned. He's been trending that way, and as bad as he looks like he plays sometimes, last week, at the WGC, didn't feel like he did anything, and he finishes with a good Sunday and gets 10th. Brooks is cheap. Rory's probably going to be a hot topic. We'll talk about that in a little bit at 10K. I think he may just be around that 14, 16, 17% range Spieth, and so I like him this week. Plan on having him. Not going to move off of that, even if he does get a little bit popular. Next for me is Cantley. You guys know that I cannot get him right. So when I'm off him, you play him. When I'm on him, you probably fade him. 23rd at WGC, he did miss the cut at the Open. A 12th here in 2019. Did not play it in 2013. Top third in the field in bent putting. Pretty solid all the way around. I think it's a great price for him, 9,200. So not much, I'm going to worry about there. I just hope he shows up and plays well. I've missed on him. I seem to always, when I've been on him heavy or even on him at all, he's struggled, barely made a cut or missed a cut at times. So hopefully this week I don't jinx him. My Bubble Boys answer, only because I do think he could pick up some, steam. Been playing great. Coming off the win at the WGC, was second here in 2019. I think that's going to be a positive. So if anybody in that 9K range that could get some steam, it may be like an answer. He's been fairly popular lately. That's the only reason I'm in the bubble is if I need to find some way to be different or move off of people, maybe he's one that I back off of. But everything across the board for me looks fairly solid. 5th in the putting rankings. Again, coming off the win, cheap as far as, he's not priced up in the 10K range. Kind of see how that goes through Wednesday, but he's on the bubble for me right now. This course seems like it fit him well. You got to hit a lot of fairways here. You don't want to be hitting out of the rough, and that's something that he does well. 8K range, start with Burns. I'm going to go back to him. Second at WGC, we had him there. Had the ticket to win, missed the putt right there, that 3-footer to take it to another playoff hole with the answer. So that stung a little bit, but I'll go back to him. He's 17th in the bent putting stats for me, 12th stats overall, 3rd in my tire rankings, Monday rankings. So 8K seems like a great price. Again, some of that eye candy I talked about. Don't want to get caught up in that, but I do like Sam Burns this week, 8,000. Next for me is Paul Casey, 8,700. Surprisingly, he didn't play here in 19 or 13. He's kind of a veteran, so I thought he would. Putting's always can be an issue with him, but outside of that, really good numbers. Fifth at the WGC, 15th at the British Open, second in the iron category, which is one of the ones I'm looking at most. So that combo of approaching around the green, seventh in bogey avoidance. If we feel like it's going to play a little bit tougher, maybe not the 16 under Reed shot, but closer to Scott number of 11, that boosts Casey for me some. I know historically he can get popular at times. I don't think at the 8,700 or anything like that he's just going to shoot up. But 16th in the stats, 8th in recent form, and 15th in the course fit for a 12th overall rating. I like Casey this week, 8,700. Next is Webb. Played him last week more than I planned on originally with the whole Uzi situation. 18th here in 2019, 15th here in 2013. 7th last week, 15th at the WGC, 19th at the Open. So, we talked about it last week. He seemed like he's actually coming back into form after some of the issues with COVID and taking time off and all that stuff. So maybe we're getting a little bit of a swing up on him. 8,900 isn't too expensive. He's 21st in stats for me, 53rd in putting, so not horrible. A little bit above field average. The 19 and 13 isn't going to hold a massive weight for me, but it's nice to see guys like that that's played here twice, the 2 times has been here and done well. 2 top 20 finishes is solid. So I do like Webb this week, 8,900. Bubble boy for me is Neiman, only because I had to put someone at bubble. I could interswap him with Webb, or they're very close. I'll be playing some Neiman. I like his price, 8,100. He played in 2019 here, got 30th. Definitely, if he's hitting fairways, love his iron game. In general, we know he can ball strike well. Hasn't had just tremendous great finishes as of late, so maybe we get a little bit of discount on ownership. 17th at the WGC, 26th on Bent. We do know Bent's one of his favorites. It is his favorite putting surface, so not much to hate there. The only reason why he's a bubble boy is I had to put someone there, and it was close between him and Webb. I gave Webb the edge just based on that history. But I don't mind Neiman at all this week at 8,100. 7K, I kind of like these. I rolled through these pretty quickly. Power at 7,000. I could see him be talked up a little bit. He's going to pop in stat models all over the place. He's number 1 in mine, 6th in recent form, 26th in the course fit. He hasn't played this course, but some of the ones I comped, he's decent. 42nd in putting, so not horrible there. Putting was what cost him a lot last week. He finished 60th, so he made the cut, but struggled putting last week. I think he wound up losing almost 4 strokes. So maybe the bent grass switch would help him there. Really good price at 7,000. I don't mind going there at all. Any of these guys down low, if we think they're going to start getting really popular, maybe I'll look around because I think there's a lot of options. But he's number 2 in my rankings overall at that price. I like him a lot. Vegas, 7,100. Been playing really well. 15th last week, 2nd at the 3M Open, 38th here in 2019. Stat-wise for me, he's 3rd. 2nd off the tee, 17th in good drives, 1st in accurate approaches, 27th in bogey avoidance, 29th in opportunities inside 18 feet. He's field average and bent putting, just maybe a hair under. So if he can get a decent to maybe even fire putter going, everything else looks really good for him. And I love the price at 7,100. And the form, I don't think, he's just not someone you've seen coming in. He's one that can make a run here. So I definitely, 2nd and 15th coming in, I like him a lot, and the price is great. Kokrak, I think, could potentially, I'm interested to see where people go with him. Feels a little cheap at 7,700, missed the cut last week, burned a lot of people, myself included. He's 4th in the putting ranks for me. He's played here twice, the 2013 and 19, a 12th and a 9th. So I'm sure that'll be talked up some. I could see him getting popular, but they also, a lot of people, the whole he just burned us type deal. Although it doesn't have as much significance as it used to in the DFS industry, especially for PGA, just because I think people realize it's golf, right? So they can suck one week and come right back if everything else looks great. He had a 34th at the WGC, a 26th at the British Open. I like this. I just love his ball striking in general. So if he's on, At this course, he loves it. Obviously, 2 good finishes. Seems like a really good price and a good potential core piece at 7,700 for Kokrak. Bubble Boy for me is Hatton. I just never hardly get him right or play him. I don't mind him though. 7,800 seems again a little bit of that eye candy cheapness. 59th here in 2019, so nothing crazy. 51st in bent putting. 17th at the WGC. He missed the cut at the British Open. 25th in stat model for me. 30th off the tee. 9th in good drives. 13th in that iron category. Not as great on the bogey avoidance type deal. We know that with him. He can blow up from time to time. 38th in opportunities just at 18 feet. But all in all, I like him. You know, he's just, you know, like I mentioned, he's on the bubble, but I can see him definitely being an MME play for me, potentially more. I could see him being popular. He's a well-known golfer at 7,800. Interesting to see if he pulls any off of like the Kokrak play. They're only $100 apart. I can see I like both of them, but I lean Kokrak more, so I just put him as the play and Hatton as the bubble boy for now. See if either one will move up in the deep dive situation, but both are great plays in my opinion this week. 6K range. I'll go back to Hank. I know he missed the cut, missed it on the number. It was just good to see him play. And obviously the withdrawal seems like his family, obviously his dad's probably doing better. He wouldn't be out here. He's 14th in bent green putting. That's good for me. 6,300 is a great price. Opens up a lot, especially if you're trying to get some of those studs up top. Could potentially get steamed up some because of that reason. If a lot of guys are trying to get at least 2 elites up there, you know, again, he just missed the cut by 1, so I'm not holding that against him on his first tournament back from the withdrawal. Just a overall great value for me. One of the best values on the board for me at $6,300. Next is Mcnealy. I like how he's been playing. 16th at the 3M Open. He's a great putter. 31st in bent putting here. Stat-wise, he's 15th, 19th in off the tee, 10th in good drives, 27th accurate approaches, 23rd bogey avoidance. Nothing worse than 58th in any of the main 6 rankings I'm looking at. So 6,900, solid price there. I really like him this week. I don't expect him to be super owned or anything, especially down there at that range. I think it'll be spread out fairly well, but we know if he gets his putter going, he'd be right there. And he was there, had a chance at the 3M before falling back a little bit, but I like him a lot this week and plan on having plenty of him. Third for me in this range is Sloan. I'll go back to him. Played great last week. Obviously lost in the playoff. Second last week, 16th at the 3M Open, so coming in really good form. A 64th there in 2019. I was surprised to see that he had played here. 75th in bent green putting, so even or a little worse than average on the field. So it's a little bit of a concern, but third in accurate approach, 18th bogey avoidance, 12th opportunities at 18 feet. He's okay off the tees, not tremendous on the stat wise, but 27th overall in stats, $6,800. Kind of just one of those guys, and we'll see this over the next 2 weeks. At times we've seen this historically this time of year. People just get on good heaters and good runs, and they ride that form. Most of these guys are planning on playing the next 3 weeks, and they'll have some time off. But I like where he's at. I like where he was at Sunday. Stood right there, had chances that he could have kind of fell away too, but was right there in the playoff, and I'll go back to him at 6,800. Bubble Boy is Higo. I just mainly because I don't know what happened to him. I don't even think I don't know if we ever got explanation of why he withdrew. But as long as it looks like he's gonna be there and be fine. He was 4 under going into Sunday at that WGC, which was, he was top 10, top 15 going in that Sunday. Obviously I liked him. I played him in Showdown, got burned by that. But if we feel like, no one's withdrawn as of me recording other than Usti, so I assume he's here, he's going to play 6,800. I like his game and his upside. He's 32nd in big green putting. I have no reason not to play him. I just want to make sure we know or can figure out why he. And if y'all, maybe someone knows. I didn't research it before going on the pod. I will tonight in my deep dive have a note. Do we have confirmation of why he withdrew that Sunday? Could just been, well, who knows? But if we can figure that out, I don't want to take any risks there. But as long as he's here and playing, I like him this week. That's the only reason why I got him on the bubble, was just because trying to figure out what happened that week and is there any concerns, lingering concerns. Fade of the week for me, this one's kind of tough, but I'm going to go JT. And really the only reason why he's up in my rankings, so this could change by Wednesday, and obviously I'll update that. But I think he could be popular at 9,800. He tends, if he's not in that 10K range, he tends to be popular. It really just comes down to the putter. He ranks 115th out of 124 guys here in bent green putting right now, and the way that I pulled it. He did play here good in 2019, 12th. Okay form. I mean, we know he's been great tee to green. It's really just coming down to, do you trust his putter or not this week? If you do, I think he's a great play. If you don't, I think he could be a good leverage play to be fading. 26th at the WGC, 40th at the Open. Again, he just doesn't seem in sync with, and I do think at times he can get a little crazy off the tee, and this isn't a place you want to do that at, but he obviously played it well in 2019, so I'm not holding that too much against him. But the putting, at 9,800, it just worries me right now, and all the other plays around it, I like to hear more right now. Right now, I'd rather pay 200 more for Rory. I think the upside there is, much better. Rory's played her twice, a 6th and a 19th. But for now, my fade will be Thomas. I may change that by Wednesday. We'll kind of see how the industry's looking, and maybe we have some leverage spot there by the time we get to Wednesday morning on Cup with Gup. My favorite sleeper right now that I project 5% or less, HV3. I don't think he's going to be super popular high on. He's not playing tremendous, as far as, but he tends to pop at times. He got a third here in 2019. We know he struggles with the putter, but he does do fairly decent on bent compared to some of the others. He had a 57th last week, but he had a few blow-up holes that really just hurt him. I think he tripled 18 on Saturday. So if he can correct some of that, $6,700, a place he obviously has done well at. Very consistent. If he can get in that fairway off the tee, hit greens, I do like his chances there. He's great at, we know he's historically great at bogey avoidance. It's just, can he go low or get some of those good numbers? Again, another guy kind of like, the harder I think it plays, the more I like for an HE3, where he doesn't have to get into a birdie fest with these guys. But 2019, it was 16 under, and he still finished third. So, which is probably, I think he shot probably 13 under or something that year. So that kind of number I think fits well for him. And I like him to try to make a little run here in the FedEx run. See our boy up there would be nice. So and I don't think he's gonna be high owned. So he's the guy I like right now the most at projected 5% or less. Very early in that, so more just kind of going off of a potential guy I don't think many will just go to, and he's one of them. Guptill plays of the week for me. Scheffler, he's 14th overall on my model. I've been playing him 8th at the Open, 14th at the WC, 9,300. Maybe keep some people off of him. I like him a lot this week. I'll go right back to him. Definitely a guy that I want to get some exposure to. Rory's 29th in my rankings. He's a hit or miss at times. We've seen that, kind of like DJ. I love the betting number, 22-1. That's in the next segment. But 10,000. I'm interested to see how many people go there. I think more would drop down to a JT. And if I'm reading that wrong, maybe I adjust come Wednesday. But maybe some people just bet Rory. I'll take the 22 number. JT's 25 though. But a 6th and a 19th here in 2019, 2013. I mentioned that. So definitely has played this course well. If he can keep it in the fairway, which he's one of the best off the tee on the tour, I can see him doing really well this week. A 12th of the WGC, 46th at the Open, which wasn't it's great. If he's somewhat, him and JT was real. I was back and forth there. If I feel like more are going to go to Rory and he becomes the kind of hot and no one's going to be playing JT, I don't mind flipping those two guys. I definitely will update you guys on that as we get closer to Wednesday if that happens. But right now, I like Rory as well. I like Adam Scott. I do think he could get talked up. $8,400. He finished the second. The best history at this course, right? A 1st and a 5th. So he plays it great. He putts well on Bermuda. He's 13th in the field there. Coming in with great form. He's one of those guys that we could see make a run here in the FedEx Cup. So I like him a lot. A little caution to see if he gets super, super popular, but 8,400, I don't mind him. Right below him is Patrick Reed, 34th in my rankings. He won here, obviously. up and down game. We know that, but I'm glad that he wound up withdrawing last week. Didn't play. Got a week's rest. I think that should help this week with him. A 31st and a 34th at the WGC and the 3M Open. We know he played a lot, so really getting that week off, maybe give him a boost this week. And I just anywhere I like Spieth, I tend to like Reed. I like Reed here. I like Spieth. A first in 2019, so he plays this well. But he didn't miss a cut in 2013, so. But that's him in general. I mean, he can miss a cut. He's missed more cuts on the number when I seen him play on than anybody. But I like him to make a good little run here these next 3 weeks. So I'm going to have some Reed for sure at $8,600. Top 5 that pop in 2 long shots brought to you by Monkey Knife Fight. Use the code GUPS, GUPS, for 100% match up to $50 on your first deposit. I like Burns 50-1, Cantley 33-1, Neiman 66-1. Rory/DJ. I haven't officially made the bet yet. I'm looking at one of those two potentially. See if DJ moves to 20. And Rory's at 22 right now. Thinking a little bit about DraftKings there. Maybe I just don't play DJ this week. Bet him at the 20. Hope, maybe he does well. Move on from there. Haven't locked that in, but both those guys at those numbers are great values in my opinion. And then Scott at 40. I think that's a good number as well for a guy that's played this course super well and is coming in right off the heels of almost winning last week. 2 long shots that I like, Power at 125-1, Vegas 150-1. Those are good potential, each ways if you got that in your market, or maybe top 5, top 10 bets as well. I don't know that they win per se, so anytime you get the each way market or a top 5, that can happen, or that can be great. But those are the 2 I like as the long shots at 100-1 or better. One and done. At this point you're 3 left, so you got to pick really based on your contest where you stand. And go with your best available player. I think if you're really getting down to it and you have some options, it's always advantageous to go take a look at who's the most picked out of the ones you're looking at. Try to get, or just looking at the guys that are up above you in the standings to see, all these guys have taken so and so, and I still got them. And if it's a great player and you think they make a run, if you're looking for a skin or something like that, there's plenty of options this week to take stabs at. Off the wall or long shots that not many people would go to in this instance. So good luck to all you guys who are out there. I think I have a chance to sneak into some min cash, but that's about it for me. I'm not making a run up at the top. So anybody up there, good luck to you. E9 this week, probably do around 4:30 or so. I know Kenny's schedule's been a little crazy. I know he's last week he said he would try to commit to the E9s for these FedEx Cup playoffs, so that'd be fun to get him on and kind of see where we're at after we digest all the industry stuff and do some deep dive stuff. Don't forget, NFL, the code NFL gets you 25% off, includes a free trial, 7 days. If you don't like it, you can cancel, never get charged. It's a good time to get in now before prices go up September 14th. All our brand new NFL package will be, NFL tools package will be, out here probably within the next 2 weeks. Hopefully getting the beta version out to our team here in this next week or so to have them start messing around with it, blowing holes in it, making sure we got everything covered. Really looking forward to it. Had some DM me to say, what's the add-on for the package if I already have the full site, and there is none. So that's a nice thing. We don't charge extra for every single package. If you're a full site member, when we add stuff to it or put stuff into it, you automatically get it because you already have everything. Now, if you want to upgrade because you're content only, you can certainly do that at any time. Like I mentioned, DM me and you get a special GC loyalty code on Slack or Twitter, either one of those, and I'll get you taken care of. I'm looking forward to this week. I think it's going to be an awesome tournament. NFL's getting going, obviously, with full week 1 preseason kind of digest. I'll talk through some of that on Cup with Gup, but still pretty focused on golf. I think there's some tremendous tournaments this week. The Fantasy Golf World Championship live finals are this week as well. So good luck to all the guys that made the top 40 there. And some big tournaments outside of that in DraftKings. So I think, we'll be locked and loaded come Wednesday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a blessed night. And I will see you tomorrow for Cup with Gup on Tuesday with the deep dive into the Northern Trust.